Now, after watching RRR, I decided to go back and watch some of S.S Rajamouli's other films, and I decided to start with Baahubali 1 and Baahubali 2, and today we are going to be reviewing Baahubali The Beginning. And I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as RRR. Considering it was made in 2015, I feel like it suffers from some really bad CGI at times. And as a narrative, I did find it structurally a bit all over the place with the past and the present. But overall, I did leave with a positive opinion on it. The CGI problem was more of a case of it feeling like it saved all of its budget for that final kind of 45-minute long battle sequence, which was money well spent for that, but it did leave the rest of the film suffering in certain places. And I think that battle is ultimately what saves the film for me. Really creative in its use of scale and tactics, and just a joy to watch unfold. But that ultimately speaks to my biggest problem with this film, is that once we switch to the flashbacks and telling the story and how we got to be where we are at the start of the film, that's when the film suddenly becomes engaging to me. The characters feel a lot richer, the story feels a lot more complex and politically intriguing. I just left the film wishing that we'd had the entire narrative focusing on that timeline and that storyline, because everything we got up until that point was okay, but nothing really substantial felt like it was happening. I wasn't particularly affected by the characters or their journeys. With the exception of Katapa, I feel like his storyline was really engrossing, and obviously even more so when you find out what happens in the past. But I do think that the narrative fusing together the past and the present didn't work too well, personally. But it's testament to the film then that when we go from present to past, the story becomes instantly more gratifying, rather than the other way around of starting in the past and then joining the present, because I think that would have been a very noticeable decline in quality, whereas the way that they did do it, it meant that the film just got better as it went along. I just feel like a lot of the relationships in the present are very thinly drawn. There's a very thinly drawn romance plot that's kind of forgotten about as soon as it happens. Political drama where there's no personal stake in it, which is why when we suddenly go back to the past and revisit the history of it, there's a lot more investment in what's going on, because our main character in the present doesn't really have much awareness of what's going on in this broader political landscape, and therefore we can't really engage with it at a more compelling level. But overall, I enjoyed it. It certainly didn't wow me. I'd say it's worth watching for the battle and not a lot else, but I am very intrigued to review the conclusion and see how it all wraps up. Thank you for checking out my review, guys. As always, if you thought differently, please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and any other recommendations for Indian cinema is always welcome. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.